Hi everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the first half of February and the lunar eclipse that we have coming up in Leo on the 10th or the 11th, depending on where in the world you live. Now generally, 2017 is a year of inspiration, of creativity, of new frontiers. Now that's partly because of this opposition that we have between Jupiter and Uranus and Eris, which is about bigger and better possibilities, bigger and better horizons. And the Uranus side, I've talked about this many times, it's the planet of personal awakening, it's the planet that connects us to the mind of God, it's the planet that connects us to the superconscious. So we can often have piercing clarity when Uranus is transiting our chart. We can just perceive things from a very high level. Jupiter, in its opposition, is expanding that. But Jupiter is also opposing Eris, which is together with Uranus. Now, Eris is the spiritual warrior that fights against any oppression or injustice. Jupiter's in Libra, sign of justice. And Eris is also known as the disruptor. In fact, both Uranus and Eris are pretty eruptive, disruptive planets, but the purpose is always to break down the old, to move us to a higher level of being. So it's an enormously exciting year with that aspect. That's going to continue for this month and for much of 2017. A feeling of exhilaration, a feeling of creativity, and a feeling of fast-moving change. But in addition to that, there is a lot of fire happening in 2017, particularly in February, actually, because we have Saturn in Sagittarius, fire sign, we have Uranus in Aries, fire sign, Eris in Aries. We also have Mars the whole month in Aries, the sign it rules, and we have Venus coming into Aries for the whole month from the 4th of the month. So this fire energy can create a real sense of propulsion and momentum. So see where Aries falls in your chart, because wherever it falls, there's likely to be quite a lot of action. Let's say it falls in your 5th house of romance and children. If you have Venus, Mars and Uranus there and you're single, that could be really exciting in terms of a sudden new romance coming in. Or if you're together with someone, that could be something exciting with your children. If it's falling in your 11th house of friendships, that could mean that they're new and exciting friendships, very different friendships suddenly coming in. So where it falls in your individual chart really makes a difference to the meaning. And if you don't know, just check out this link appearing above. Take you to my store. You can buy a 2-part tutorial video series which will explain all you need to know to answer that "what does it mean for me" question. Now, another reason we have this sense of action, as well as the fire, as well as the aspect between Uranus, Eris and Jupiter, is that all planets are moving forwards, certainly up until the 6th of the month when Jupiter goes retrograde, but all the others continue to move forwards. Now, whenever a planet moves retrograde, it has to integrate what the symbolism of that planet is about. So Jupiter is moving retrograde at 23 of Libra. See where that falls in your chart. So Jupiter will be going back over what it's learned in that area of life for you and integrating knowledge and wisdom, higher consciousness wisdom. That's what Jupiter's about. And it will stay retrograde till early June, 9th of June. So that's another wonderful use. You know, we can't always be driving forwards. We have to reintegrate information that we've received. So it's a very, very positive side of Jupiter when it's retrograde too. Then on the 8th of the month, just for that day, we have a grand cross, a cardinal grand cross forming between the Moon in Cancer, highlighting Pluto in Capricorn, Jupiter in Libra, and Uranus and Eris in Aries. So if you have anything between 17 and 22 degrees of the cardinal signs, those planets for you will be triggered. Now this happens fairly regularly, that the Moon, which moves quickly, sometimes Mercury, later this month in fact Mars, will be triggering that very important T-square, Jupiter, Pluto, Uranus, Eris that I've talked about. So this time, just for that day on the 8th, it's the Moon. So this could bring up some emotional issues connected to the home, the family, your feeling of security versus freedom, independence and individuality. So that may be a recurring theme for you if your natal chart is being triggered. So don't act precipitously because the moon will have moved on by the next day, but just be very aware of what you're feeling that day. Then we should be aware that the nodal axis is moving from Virgo and Pisces, where it's been for over a year, into the signs of Leo and Aquarius. That's starting to happen in 2017. The nodal axis always moves backwards through the signs. So the first eclipse we have in this year is the lunar eclipse, which is at 22 degrees 28 minutes of Leo. It's happening on the 10th of February at 4:32 p.m. Pacific and at 32 minutes past midnight the next day, the 11th UK time. So eclipses are powerful. Now this isn't a total eclipse, we'll have one of those in August, but it's a penumbral eclipse, it's a shadow eclipse. It's still very powerful. It'll be seen, be visible across Europe, Africa, eastern parts of North and South America. And an eclipse can often reveal something. I mean, it's like a big full moon. So it can often reveal something you're unaware of. So see where 22 of Leo falls in your chart. Is it your fourth house? Is something about the home or a parent revealed to you? Is it the ninth house? Is it something about a legal case or a foreign matter or something you're studying or writing? And also the full moon will, and therefore this lunar eclipse will tend to bring things to culmination, to fruition and to closure very often. It's the peaking of the cycle. So just see what is unfolding for you. We never know the detail of the story, we observe the symbolism and we understand the meaning as it happens. So see where 22 of Leo falls for you. But the geometry at this eclipse is quite remarkable. I mean, first of all, it's worth saying that Leo, to remind us that Leo is the sign of creativity, playfulness. It's also the sign of heart energy. So this eclipse will remind us, are we living enough from our heart? Are we living enough from love? That simple act of breathing in and out through the heart. Are we broadcasting love through our days to all those we meet? Because that's what will change our reality in part. And that's, if enough of us do it, that's what will also change the world. So try and remember to live from heart energy, to live from love. But this lunar eclipse is also reminding us to be creative, moon in Leo, and to do it in original and individual ways, sun in Aquarius. Now, as I say, the geometry at this lunar eclipse is extraordinary. First of all, we have a fire grand trine happening between the eclipsed moon at 22 of Leo, Saturn at 25 of Sagittarius and Uranus at 21 of Aries. So this is an equilateral triangle in fire, which is considered lucky, quite magical, very creative, very good for manifesting. It's very inspiring. The Saturn side of it helps to manifest your ideas and inspirations. Then we have something very special. It's a kind of mystic rectangle between the Sun and Moon, and also Jupiter and Uranus. It's made up of two sextiles and two trines. And this is a very mystical configuration, which again is considered incredibly lucky for manifesting. On top of that, we have another rare configuration, which is known as the finger of God or the finger of fate. It's a yod. And that's made up of the sextile between the eclipsed moon and Jupiter, forming a very thin pointed triangle up to Chiron in Pisces. So Chiron in Pisces is the emphasized planet there. So this is talking about the ability to download information at this eclipse. Eclipses are like portals. They can allow us to access more information. Together with the wisdom and higher consciousness of Jupiter, together helping us to move towards wholeness. Chiron in Pisces, move towards wholeness. a spiritual lift in terms of our state of being. So really, really inspiring, great day to meditate. And remember that eclipses are like wild cards. They help to accelerate our personal development. They help us to jump forward on our path of destiny or jump back onto our path of destiny. So this is an amazingly magical, mystical, rich time, and I really encourage you to meditate around this lunar eclipse and see what starts to unfold in your life. Remember, things will be happening quickly. A lot of planets in fire. Think how fast fire spreads. It'll be fast. A lot of things changing very quickly. So thank you for listening. Thank you for all of your comments and support. If you'd like more information about my book, my audiobook, my monthly newsletter, just check out my website, pamgregory.com or thenextstep.uk.com. And thanks so much for listening.